there is a scientific way to understand spirituality. But before we even begin to understand the science of spirituality, it's very important for us to understand that we break this compartmentalization that we have of this or that. Somehow we have been handed over this fallacy into our head. You have to give up materialistic life if you have to spiritually grow. No scripture has said this. There is no evidence in any scripture that says, yes, you need to give up to go up. It's common sense. If I don't give up the lower branch, I can't go to the higher branch. You can't have one leg in one branch and the other leg in other branch. So if you have to lift the other leg to that branch, you have to lift it from here. Go up cannot have and give up. And this give up that is there in all the religion is to give up the lower tendencies within you so that you can embrace the higher tendencies within you. In the Upanishads, it's so beautifully explained when they say that there was a bird in one of the lower branches of the tree, and it heard from one of the birds in the highest branch of the tree saying, "Come." Not still having faith in the call of that higher bird, this bird continued to stay in the lower branch. But as you lived through the lower branch of life and suffered the bitterness of the lower branch of life, there is something that comes to you called maturity. And as you gain this maturity, you realize you do not belong to this lower branch. And only when you gain maturity, you realize this. No matter how many people say this from outside, only when you gain maturity, you realize, I don't think I belong to this branch. That bird hopped to a higher branch. And as it hopped to a higher branch, it looked up and it found that same bird in the highest branch still calling, saying that, "Come." Still not convinced, this bird continued to stay in that same lower branch. And after a period of time, through all the experiences, it gained something called maturity. The gift of being a human being is we are evolving consciousness. Experience by experience, experience by experience. Our consciousness evolves where we have a higher understanding of life. The way you looked at life with your maturity yesterday and the way you look at similar circumstances today with the maturity has changed because you have grown through the experiences of life. That's why man is called an evolving consciousness. The one who walked in at 7 o'clock and the one who walks out at 9 o'clock can be two different people. Because in these 2 hours, you can allow me to enter you and some shift in your consciousness will happen. And as a result, the one who goes outside, and that's possible only with a human being. An evolving consciousness. Every today of my life can be better than my yesterday. It's called maturing. And as this bird matured and realized, hey, not even this branch I belong to, it hopped into the higher branch. Branch by branch, it kept hopping. We all go through that experiences in life. The Upanishad so beautifully concludes saying that finally when this bird reached the highest branch, the branch from which that bird kept calling, "Come," and only, Upanishad says, and only when you reach that branch, will you go through this experience. And when you reach that highest branch, for the first time you realize there were never two birds. There was never a calling bird and a listening bird. Your own higher consciousness was calling out to you saying, how long will you live in that lower animalistic consciousness? Give it up and come and live your life through a higher consciousness. The higher in you is appealing to you, saying that enough, you have lived the life of a lower consciousness. Because man by creation is a fascinating aspect as a human being. I told you, this is how I began the program. You have to consider the greatest of all blessings is you're born as a human being. Man is a fascinating creation. And the fascination of human creation is this. You're born as a man with two possibilities. You can either fall into animalistic instincts or you can evolve into divine possibilities. Both are possible. I can day by day, in fact, experience by experience, all of us are either going a little closer to the divine or a little closer to the animal within us. Experience by experience, you're either becoming a little more animal or a little more divine. And the direction of your consciousness is very, very important. So when they said give up is required for go up, they said give up the lower tendencies so that you are able to embrace the higher tendencies.